So I understand not everyone uses Rhinox anymore. I wouldn't say he's a bot that everyone uses, but I still think he's a good bot. Still a bot you can use. And the good thing about Rhinox is you can use him on defense, you can use it on attack. He's pretty good at both. You'll still see him in quite a few outposts, especially around the Cybertron level. The people don't have the top outpost bots available level to a decent level to be in an outpost. So we're talking about Rhinox's setup. So I think you can't go wrong with the G1. The fact that it restores health, and the fact that when it drops below a certain health, it reinvigorates his vines again. That is absolutely essential on defense. Before we had this core, Rhinox was alright, and this core literally was a game changer for him on defense because he'll rush in, he'll use his vines, use his ability, he'll then transform, he'll start going to melee attack, and then as soon as he gets below 40%, it brings the vines up again. So restoring his health, trapping them in the vines, and yeah, like for another, was it 11 seconds? I thought it was 12 seconds when you upgrade the core, but yeah, for another 12 seconds. So yeah, obviously like doing damage and healing in an area. So absolutely, really good bot on defense attack, and a really good core as well. Really good G1R transmetal core. Again, if you don't have the core, I would even use a gold one. It does exactly the same thing, but obviously with less levels. So yeah, the point of this is the point of where he drops below 40% health, and the vines come alive again. So regardless of the level of the core, that's the most essential part, which is available at all levels of all the cores. So I would try and use his transmetal even at gold if you have it. If you don't, it's unlikely because even the silver is pretty decent. You can put a prime core as always. I think that's the answer to pretty much most questions about these bots. Is that if you don't have the G1, use a prime core. If the G1's rubbish, use a prime core. The general cores like Vitality and Wallbuster are pretty crud. You won't see many bots where I will say use a generic core with them. You're generally looking at a prime core or you're looking at the G1. In terms of prime cores for Rhinox, then Megatronus is pretty decent because he is melee. You could even use Liege because you're rushing him in if you're on attack. Even Quintus maybe. So there are some decent options for him. Wouldn't use Amalgamus, doesn't transform long enough to use Amalgamus. And then combat wise, I mean, I would sort of debate. It depends how you use him. Whether you use him on attack, whether you use him on defense, what you're going to use him for. If you're rushing any bot into an area, I would advise you to think about anti-hack mechanisms because you don't want to rush into where Lieges miss it and then get hacked. So you need to consider that. But outside of that, I prefer Enrax on Rhinox. I think that he lacks a bit of health generally just because he's a melee special, and so the Enrax gives him that extra health. There's a lot of elemental damage in the game, so he's going to do that extra DPS, but because he's a melee special, he already has high DPS. So all these sort of things sort of help him sort of survive a bit longer. As always, if he's in an outpost, maybe not go with Enrax. If he's in an outpost, I would probably go with one of the likes of Big Daddy, Sidetrack, Zor maybe. Something's going to shoot from range behind him if on defense. They're the sort of preferred things for me. But Enrax, Transmetal Core, definitely most desirable. If not, Prime Core, Anti-Hack if you're going to rush him in somewhere, which you probably will with his ability. And if on defense, have a minion combat.